am honored to be with the UK Women's Forum today. From tragedy to triumph, encouraging Women X to overcome. Women X, we are fierce, we are resilient, and we are fearless. We belong in all places where decisions are being made. It is up to us to stand up with courage and conviction and take our rightful place. Refuse to accept a plight defined for you by someone else, for you control your destiny. Your circumstances, whether good or bad, do not define you. I speak from experience. I want to share with you today my personal story, and by doing so, it is my hope that I will encourage each of you to be all that you can be. My dream of becoming a judge began when I was 16 years old, growing up in the inner city of Youngstown, Ohio. As part of a high school project, I walked into the Mahoning County Courthouse to interview members of the local bar association. And much to my surprise, there was no one there that looked like me. Everyone I saw was a white man in his late 40s or early 50s, who really all seemed a bit bothered by the fact that I was asking questions about career opportunities in the legal profession, which at that time was a male-dominated field. My parents taught me early in life that I could do and be anything that I wanted to do and be. They were two remarkable individuals who sacrificed their retirement years to adopt me as an infant from foster care. They instilled in me at a very young age a strong faith, work ethic, and values. They taught me that education was the key to success and that there were no excuses. My passion for the law, my commitment to excellence, my strength and drive to excel at every task I undertake is due to their teachings, despite their 8th grade educations. Tragedy took them from me far too early in life. My dad was diagnosed with lung cancer the summer I graduated from high school in 1978. I forfeited my college scholarship to stay home and take care of him. He died 6 months later. I was 18. With my scholarship now gone, I knew I had to pay for college somehow. I never lost sight of my dream of becoming a judge. I went to ITT Technical School and got an associate degree in court stenography. That degree is what brought me to Lexington in the fall of 1979. I worked as a freelance court stenographer traveling throughout the Commonwealth. In January of 1980, I enrolled here at the University of Kentucky, Carroll Martin Gatton College of Business, and began my academic studies. 5 months later, my mother was murdered. She was shot and killed by a family member. At 19 years old, I had buried both my parents. 3 years later, at 22, my health started to deteriorate. And at 24, I was unable to work or go to school. I was facing the possibility that I would not wake up from a 5th surgery. Although the prognosis was very grim, I was remarkably at peace. I knew that if God was ready for me, then I was ready to go. But I also knew that if God let me live, that He had a plan for my life to see my dream of becoming a judge fulfilled. I woke up from that surgery 4.5 weeks later, in early January of 1985, but with a renewed vision and determination. The doctors cautioned my optimism and, in fact, told me that I would likely never work again, and that I indeed needed to live a stress-free life. My response: what woman do you know who lives a stress-free life? I refused to accept the fact that Crohn's disease would define my future. In the fall of 1987, after 2.5 years of extensive rehabilitation, having to learn again how to walk, I walked to UK's campus. I was still unable to drive, and I sat down with then Dean First and told him to put me on the lifetime plan, that I had every intention of graduating from the University of Kentucky's College of Business. I had 2 years left to finish. I started with one class at a time. In May of 1991, I did in fact walk across the stage of Memorial Hall and received my bachelor's degree. Still under doctor's care, I walked into Dr. Walton's office, my surgeon, and I told him that I was going to law school in the fall. I wanted to take charge of my life and my health, and steroids and opioids were not going to be a part of it anymore. Dr. Walton was very, very skeptical. And he again reminded me that Crohn's disease was not curable and that it could in fact be triggered by stress. I was not deterred. I entered UK's College of Law in the fall of 1991 and graduated in May of 1994. I was told that I was too old to go to law school and that at age 34, who would ever hire me? I knew I wanted to be a judge and thought that path would be through the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office or through prosecution. I wanted to put away the bad guys, but there were no openings. And so I had to look elsewhere. I interviewed with Wyatt, Terrence & Combs, a large regional law firm here in Lexington. When asked in the interview what my career goals were, I said I wanted to be a justice on the Kentucky Supreme Court. The attorneys looked a little puzzled and they said, well, we don't have an opening for a justice on the Kentucky Supreme Court, but we do have an entry-level associate position. At that time, there were no African-American attorneys in their Lexington office. And many questioned, why would I want to work there? They said I would just be a token hire. I looked at them puzzled. I thought they were crazy and said, really? They want to pay me $65,000 a year and you question why I want to work there? It is an opportunity, I said, for me to open the door for other minorities and other women. That was one glass ceiling broken. Wyatt knew my dream of becoming a judge, and they embraced it. They informed me about the politics behind the judicial nominating, appointment, and election process. Several attorneys in the firm had been elected officials, and they were willing to educate me to the political process. I was eager to learn. 5 years later, a vacancy opened on the Fayette District Court bench, and I applied for that appointment. Many said I did not stand a chance without political connections and a political acumen. Well, when you have a faith as strong as mine, you believe that all things are possible. In August of 1999, then Governor Paul Patton appointed me to the Fayette District Court bench. Indeed, I became the first African-American female to be appointed to the bench in Fayette County. But now I had to run a countywide race for the very first time. I was facing 9 opponents. Again, I was told I did not stand a chance. It is a really good thing that I do not listen to negativity, for I did win with a very large percentage of the vote for a nine-person race, becoming the first African American elected to the bench in Fayette County. My dream had become a reality, but I did not stop dreaming. I was on the bottom of the judicial hierarchy, and my goal was to reach the top. My goal was to become a justice on the Kentucky Supreme Court. I became the chief of the Fayette District Court in December of 2002. In June of 2003, Judge Adams retired from the Fayette Circuit Court bench, creating a vacancy on the Fayette Circuit Court. Again, some questioned whether I was, quote, ready for the Circuit Court bench. Was I ready for more responsibility? Was I ready for more serious cases? My response was absolutely. I announced my candidacy June 1st of 2003. There would be no appointment for this particular seat. Whoever wanted the position had to run for it in the November general election. On the very last day to file, my opponent came back to Kentucky from Tennessee and filed to run against me. It was a head-to-head matchup with name recognition and money, neither of which I had at the time. Again, the doubters said I did not stand a chance in a head-to-head matchup. My philosophy was never tell a determined woman what she cannot do. The results, again, were phenomenal. I won by more than 10,000 votes. I think even my opponent was stunned, but every day thereafter, I had certainly earned his respect. I was on the trial court bench in circuit court for a total of 18 years, earning Trial Judge of the Year in 2012. I tried every type of case a judge could try in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, including more capital murder cases than any other judge in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I was elected Chief Judge of the Fayette Circuit Court in December of 2016. I have a passion for the law, a passion for excellence, and a drive to excel. In the fall of 2016, Justice Larry Van Meter was elected to the Kentucky Supreme Court, which created a vacancy on the Kentucky Court of Appeals for the 5th Appellate District, the next rung on the judicial ladder. The district included 11 counties. Then Governor Bevin would make an appointment with the appointee serving until the November 2018 election. I filed for the appointment. Despite 18 years on the trial court and a multitude of experience, I did not get the appointment. I was told by then Governor Bevin's office that he did not think I could win a race in 11 counties. But remember what I said. Never tell a determined woman what she cannot do. My campaign got underway in November of 2017. And for the next year, I put together a team of volunteers in each of the 11 counties that I was working in. I worked tirelessly every single day to let it be known why I was the best candidate for the position. I shared my vision and my passion. Many of my volunteers told me often, they were asked regularly, can she win? Of course, I asked them how they responded, and their response was, yes, she can. And yes, we did. It was an historic election, a 26,912 vote victory, which took away any possible doubt. I now serve as your representative on the Kentucky Court of Appeals for the 5th Appellate District. My next stop will be the Kentucky Supreme Court. I refuse to let anyone else define my destiny. Again, shortly after my surgery, I was told that I would never work again. I was told that if I did survive the surgery, again, it would be difficult for me to live a normal life. But I refused to listen to negativity. I refused to listen to negative commentary questioning my skin color, asking if I was at times Black enough. I refused to let anyone tell me what I could not do. My daddy used to always tell me to always reach for the stars, to reach for the moon even, he would say. And if you didn't make it, you would land amongst the stars. I refused to let anyone define who I was, who I would become. As a result, I am where I want to be today. And I remind each of you to dream with ambition, the impossible dream. And remember that women X belong in all places where decisions are made. But it is up to each of us to find our place, to stand up and to take charge. It is important to remember that we are in charge of that destiny. I think you will agree with me that 2020 has been a year like no other. We are currently living amidst a global pandemic. COVID-19 has desperately impacted women X and particularly women of color. Wearing a mask and socially distancing has become politicized, and efforts to slow the virus's grasp on our community has been challenged in courts throughout our country. Maternal mortality among Black women is increasing, but help is on the way in the form of a vaccine. Also this year, we celebrate the centennial anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment. This monumental achievement was the result of the efforts of all women, white women, Black women, LGBTQ women. Susan B. Anthony said that there would never be complete equality until women themselves, and I think she would appreciate the term women X, help to make laws and elect lawmakers. I think she would be thrilled to see the inclusivity here today at the UK Women's Forum. Yet let's not forget that the 19th Amendment was not inclusive of all women. It took another 44 years until the Federal Civil Rights Act of 1964, which ensured that all women 21 years of age or older, regardless of race, enjoyed the right to vote. It was not until the following year, with the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, to give all women the right to vote. Women X have worked hard to have the opportunity to lead. We know the power we can harness working together for the greater good. Working together, I believe that we can enact the change we want to see in this world. For now, we know we still have work. We know we still have to work harder to be recognized. We know we have to play by different rules. This also gives us strength, passion, determination, and drive. The statue placed in downtown Lexington this past summer is a testament of how far we have come. And it will also be a reminder to work hard to get us where we want and need to be. Today, as our communities struggle with mass incarceration, with disenfranchisement, with voter suppression, inequality, and injustice, we must ask ourselves yet again, where do we go from here? We must acknowledge that Congress will not likely pass a law banning systemic racism generally. We as a society must address it in our individual communities by instituting initiatives designed to close the racial gaps that help to improve our economy for the benefit of everyone, including minority citizens. To quote Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. It is troubling to see incidents of racial injustice increasing in our country, and we should truly be striving for justice for all and following the lead of Dr. King and his mission. Protests following incidents of injustice are the need to express a concern for the conditions that brought them about. And all should realize that we cannot merely deal with the after effects without sincerely grappling with the underlying causes. How fitting is your theme for this year? A new chapter begins. As we bring 2020 to a close and embark on a new year with a new administration, we must remain optimistic that our nation can heal from its divide. That effort will take each of us doing our part. We can conquer hate, but that requires action, not indifference nor minimization. We cannot minimize certain behaviors, but must call them out. The torches carried by the late Congressman John Lewis, and one that I looked up to, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, has now been passed to each of us. We must follow their leads, and it will take each of us working together for the greater good of our nation to ensure that that happens. Thank you. And I will be happy to remain with you to answer as many questions as you have, whether they be personal questions or professional questions. I am always happy to encourage and motivate women of all ages to be all that they can be, to be their authentic selves. And I was so thrilled to be invited as your keynote speaker for the opening session here today, and why I wanted to share with you From Tragedy to Triumph, encouraging women X to overcome.